Hi, welcome to the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings Show. My name is Barry Sterling Mitchell. My co-host here is Ben Dickerson, giving you the salute with his New York Giants hat on today. And we'll have an opportunity to talk about that, your team and my team, my beloved 49ers. Neither one of us are real happy right now, but that's just what it is. Sterling Net Point Power Rankings, we're going to bring the statistics that we believe are the baseline for really beginning to look at the teams. And this is how we rank them. We rank them through the net points or the win margin. The team with the greatest win margin is ranked the highest. Win margin being the difference between the points scored and the points allowed, or net points as we might call them. And the other stat that we like to bring into account is the turnover differential, because turnovers lead to points. So Ben, let's get ready to get started with the first chart. And you'll notice that I've got two columns. And what I wanted to do was to kind of look at the teams based on the year, so that would be through week 10 in this particular case, because we're looking backwards. And I also wanted to look at them over the last 3 weeks to see who's kind of got some momentum going at this particular point in the season as we begin to move into the second half of the season. So that's more of a momentum play, but it's you start to see some of these teams really getting their act together. So as I like to do, let's talk about the teams that are ranked in first place here. You've got your Indianapolis Colts, and again, ANP stand for average net points, averaging plus 11.5. And for these averages and average turnover differential, the numbers can go both positive and negative. For over the last 3 weeks, however, you'll see that the LA Rams have really been getting it done, where Indianapolis is at 11.5 for the season. And the longer you have your averages, the numbers are going to come down a little bit. But the LA Rams hot at 22.7 after they finished beating up on my beloved 49ers. We'll talk about that later. Second place is a team that is both hot now and has been hot all season, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. For the season, plus 11.4, and over the last 3 games, plus 18. We talked about the Rams. They're in third place on average net points. The Chargers are in third place over the last 3 weeks at plus 16.3. Fourth place, you've got Detroit at plus 9.2 for the season. But there's that scary team, Ben, Kansas City, plus 15 over the last 3 weeks. And sixth place, New England, the Patriots, plus 7.3 for the season. You're looking at fifth and sixth place, Baltimore and Detroit over the last 3 weeks. And I'm just going to go down to the eighth spot, which is 25% of the teams. Denver at plus 6.2 and Houston at plus 6, whereas you've got Philly in seventh place at plus 9 and Denver at plus 8.7 over the last 3 weeks. So you can kind of take a look, Benny, here and see who's where. Chargers, Philly, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Chicago start into the negative. There's no negative on the last 3 weeks, though. Philly is plus 9, Denver, New England plus 8, Indianapolis, as you can see, has fallen. We're going to talk a little bit about Indianapolis. I got some thoughts on them guys. Buffalo, Benny, down in the 11th place over the last 3 weeks, and ninth place they were for the season. So Green Bay, the Jets, and Tampa Bay are filling out the bottom part of this. Before we move to the second half, anything you want to say on this group?
Well, what catches my eye is consistency. And the most consistent teams, meaning they're high in the overall ranking for the season, and they're still high in over the last 3 weeks. And those teams jump right out at you. Seattle, first of all.
Yeah.
The Rams,
Yeah.
right away.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City.
Yep.
And I think I got one more here, and
Detroit?
that would be Detroit.
Yeah.
Those are the most consistent teams. Those are all very scary teams. Those are all teams that I would say are locks for the playoffs. I'm sure there'll be a couple of division winners coming out of that bunch, although it's going to be tough. So look at the last 3 weeks. The Rams and Seattle are both in the NFC West. Only one team can win it, but they're both battling it out right now as we come down the stretch. Um, Kansas City, their only threat in their division is Denver, and Denver has fallen off a little bit, not win wise, but points wise. So that could be a little sign of weakness there for Denver. Um, and then we're talking about Detroit and the team that I thought was going to threaten in the NFC North ain't threatening no more, and that's the Green Bay Packers. And that's a team that needs to be talked about. There's something going on over there. But
Yeah,
other
I
than
got some
that,
thoughts on
yes.
them guys too, Benny.
Yeah, well, yeah, I want to hear these thoughts about the Colts and the Packers from you. I really do. But we'll get to that. But right now, yeah, the teams that have been uh, playing at full strength or being playing very impressively over the course of the season are really putting the foot to the metal over the last 3 weeks, and I would expect them to pretty much continue to do so.
I always point out the Philadelphia Eagles, since they're the defending champions. You'll notice they are 12th in average net points for the season, but 7th over the last 3 weeks with +9. Even though they're not scoring a bunch of points, their differential looks a lot better. So they could be getting their act together. All right, let's look at the bottom half of the average net points real quick. And, we're not going to spend a lot of time because whether it's the last 3 weeks or for the season, these are teams that are struggling and just having some serious problems. If you look at my Niners, for example, for this year, ranked 17th at -1. Over the last 3 weeks, they're ranked 22nd at -5.7. You'll notice that the numbers are again lower for the season, in the ones to the fours to the fives, seven, and then as in the nines, but at 14.1 and 32nd place. But they're a little more healthy on the last 3 weeks, so teams are really giving up some points, man. You look at Atlanta at 24 through what's that? 24, blah, blah, blah. They're all 10, giving up -10 on average. Jacksonville, New Orleans, Las Vegas, -11, Carolina, -12, Tennessee, 16, -16, and Washington, -22. So, yeah, Washington just took a big hit, and it's showing in their numbers. So, anything on this group?
What jumps out at me on this, when I look at this, the first thing that pops into my head is fantasy. So over the last 3 weeks, I got to kind of throw my Giants in there. What? Yeah, I'm not going to throw Atlanta in there because they're kind of up and down. They've shown some life on defense. But Minnesota, the Giants, the Jaguars, and especially the Saints, the Raiders, the Panthers, Titans, and Commanders. If you have players on your fantasy team and you're trying to figure out who has the best matchups, and any of your players are playing those teams, start those players. That's what jumps out at me. If I can't make up my mind between this guy, and that guy is playing Vegas or Carolina or Tennessee or the Commanders, I'm starting that guy.
Makes sense.
Because these teams were already low and now they're really falling off. Now's the time to take advantage of them.
Well, let's take a look at who's scoring what kind of points here, Benny, before we get too carried away. With the APF average points for Indianapolis in first place for the season through week 10. Over the last 3 weeks, the Cincinnati Bengals. Flacco! That's crazy. I just think the whole Flacco thing is absolutely amazing that he's playing as well as he's playing, the numbers he's putting up. For the season, you've got second place Detroit, followed by again Seattle, Dallas scoring points, the Rams, Buffalo putting up 27.6, and Chicago 26.6, and New England 26.5. So that's your top 8 right there, followed closely by Kansas City, Baltimore, Tampa Bay, Philly averaging 24.2. Again, that's your defending champion team coming in 12th in scoring, followed closely by the Chargers, Cincinnati, Green Bay is not far behind, and Pittsburgh in the 16th place. Now, over on the last 3 weeks, the numbers are a little more healthy, not too much, about the same. Cincinnati 37.7, Rams 37, Seattle 36, Detroit 30, Indianapolis, and the Chargers 29.7, with Chicago coming in at 29. That's respectable for Chicago, man. Be averaging 29 points a game at this particular point with a second year, quarterback and a brand new head coach. Dallas puts up points, we know that, and it's funny that they're tied with Baltimore because them and Baltimore were at the bottom of the defensive list together over the last few weeks. New England, 28 points, Buffalo, 27, Kansas City, 26.7, Houston, 25.7, Philly coming in at 14th at 25.3 over the last 3 weeks, San Fran, and then Denver. So here's just top of half of the NFL in terms of scoring. Betty, anything on this?
Again, I'm looking at consistency. The teams that have been lighting up the scoreboard off season, but are especially lighting up the scoreboard over the last 3 weeks, are Seattle and the Rams.
Yeah, somehow I think there's going to be some head banging between those two teams in the very
It's the
near future.
NFC West, baby.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Okay, let's look at the bottom half of the scoring group here. In 32nd place, let's just drop to the bottom. You got Tennessee on the average for the year. New Orleans for the last 3 weeks, man. He only putting up 10 points per game for them guys. However, top of this half, you got Denver, Jacksonville, Houston, Arizona, Minnesota, Washington, my Niners at 23rd place, averaging 22 points per game. Your New York Giants tied with your New York Jets. What's with the New York thing with the 21.7? Y'all got the same average. What's up with that, Benny?
I have no clue.
Miami, probably one of the hardest to kind of figure out what the heck's going on with them and down in Miami, but they're averaging 21 points per game. Atlanta, we thought was going to do more. Carolina's not bad. So Cleveland, everybody wants to know if you're only scoring 16 points a game, should you give your third string guy Shedeur Sanders at least a look? However, I'm hearing stuff about Deshaun now. I just read something. They're talking like that's a possibility. Like Shedeur might not get some play because they might look at Deshaun first. It's amazing. It's amazing. Over the last 3 weeks, Benny, Arizona and the Jets, 24 points. Scoring, Miami, 23.3. So as you can see, Miami's increased. Jacksonville's up there. Your Giants tied with Cleveland this time at 21.3. Pittsburgh, 20.7. So there's your Aaron Rodgers, Benny, coming in. As a matter of fact, where did I see? Was Pittsburgh in the top half for the year? Let me look at this real quick. 16th place. Okay.
Yeah, they were 16.
16th. And so now they're 23rd over the last 3 weeks. But 16th at 23.6 and 23rd at 20.7. So here's the bottom half of your scoring teams, Benny, down to New Orleans for the last 3 weeks and Tennessee for the season. What do you got for this?
Nothing.
Absolutely. Say it again. All right, next up, defense, Benny. Defense. Houston, the Texans for the season in first place, only allowing 16.7 points per game. And look at that team right next to them over the last 3 weeks, Benny. 11.7 points per game, Kansas City giving up over the last 3 weeks on average. The Rams coming in second for the season. Denver Third, Kansas City. Fourth for the season at 17.7. Seattle. New England, Green Bay. The Chargers at 20.3. Indianapolis, 20.6. Philly is 10th at 21.3. Just a hair ahead of Buffalo. And then you got Carolina, Detroit, Tampa Bay. My Niners at 15, averaging 23, allowing 23 points per game, and Atlanta 23.2. On the last 3 weeks, Baltimore's doing a lot better, only allowing 13 points per game, a little bit ahead of the Rams, strangely. Denver and Philly only allowing 16.3 points on average. Green Bay 17 and Miami 17. So for the top half of the league, scoring wise, well, wait, you got a tie between Seattle and Tampa Bay at 18.3. Detroit coming in at 19.3. New England 19.7. Buffalo 20. Houston 20.7. New Orleans 21.3, and Cleveland 21.7. So from 16.7 from the number one team, only 5 points separate them and the 16th ranked team in terms of the last 3 weeks. And basically 7 points, a little bit under 7, between number 1 and number 16 in terms of defense. Consistency, Benny?
There is some. I'm going to stick with my theme. We're looking for some separation between the Rams and the Seahawks. This might be that separation over the last 3 weeks. Rams were second overall over the course of the season. They're fourth over the last 3 weeks. Seattle fifth over the season, but only ninth now over the last 3 weeks. So that's the first sign of true separation between those two teams.
Okay, all right, all right. Well,
And the crazy thing is,
Uh,
here's the crazy thing. If you ask me what defense would I rather have, I'd say Seattle.
well, I was going to say the Rams had the benefit of playing my Niners and holding us to
Well,
practically
that's
nothing. So their numbers might be a little skewed. They might have a little Niner skew on them. But okay, I can understand. Let's look at the bottom half real quick. And going down to 32nd, Cincinnati is in last place for both the last 3 weeks and um, for the season. And again, Flacco playing so good, it just doesn't seem right that their defense is that bad. But Cleveland is in 17th place. That's that group, Cleveland, Minnesota, and Arizona in that 23 point allowed game range. Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Vegas in that 24-point range. New Orleans, Miami, 25 point. Baltimore, New York Jets, 26 points. New York Giants allowing 27 points per game, just a tad ahead of Chicago. It's no surprise that Benny. Chicago's down there in 28th place, giving up a little too many points, making Caleb have to play superhero up there. Washington, Tennessee, Dallas, and Cincinnati round out the bottom 4. As of the last 3 weeks, though, Indianapolis down to 17th place, allowing 22 points per game. And then you got Carolina and Vegas, the Jets. Pittsburgh should be at 21, not with the most highly paid defense in the league, but there you go. Minnesota, 29.3. Who's that defensive coordinator, Ben?
for who?
Minnesota?
Brian Flores.
B-Flow. 20, giving up 29.3 points per game, tied with Arizona, much less. Atlanta, my Niners in 25th place, tied with Chicago, giving them 30 points, 30.7 points per game. Anytime you're down around Dallas, you know you're in trouble. Your Giants are right below them, tied with Tennessee. That ain't good. Jacksonville, 33.3 points per game over the last 3 weeks for Jacksonville. I'm a little surprised to hear that one, though. What about you?
You pretty much got the same teams that can't score, can't stop anybody either.
Is Jacksonville getting beat that bad, though?
They had a couple clunkers, yeah.
Okay, okay.
And like I said, if they're having trouble putting points on the board, chances are they're going to be getting beat. Just
Mm,
like if you can't stop anybody, you're going to get beat. These are the same teams: Giants, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Commanders. I mean, Cincinnati wasn't running that other list that I mentioned, wanting to play your fantasy guys against. But those other teams, they're on that same list.
okay, back to the fantasy. There you go. All right, Benny. So there's your defense. Next thing we always like to talk about is ATOD, average turnover differential, because turnovers lead to points. And number one for the season, Benny, the Chicago Bears at plus 1.6, man. I mean, gee, Christmas, you gotta like that. You gotta like that. For the last 3 weeks, though, it's been Baltimore. Look at Baltimore plus 2.3. Cleveland at plus 1.7. So these, creating some turnovers there for the season, however. Second and third place, you got Jacksonville and Tampa Bay at point 0.9, Rams at point 0.8, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Houston at point 0.7, Atlanta and Philly at point 0.6, Kansas City point 0.4. That takes you down to 10th place. Arizona 0.3, tied Buffalo, Indianapolis 0.2, Cleveland at 0.1, and Baltimore breaks even at 0. And then from that point on the season side, we'll go into the negative, but on the top three there, Baltimore plus 2.3, Cleveland, Tampa Bay, the Rams looking good. Got a four-way tie between Chicago, Philly, Arizona, and Buffalo. A three-way tie between Houston, Atlanta, and the Chargers. Pittsburgh coming in at 12. And then you got one, two, three, four-way tie between Jacksonville, Detroit, Kansas City, and the Giants at 0, breaking even over the last 3 weeks. Anything on this before we move?
Once again, keeping with the theme, consistency. Tampa Bay third over the season, third over the last 3 weeks. The Rams fourth over the season, fourth over the last 3 weeks. Chicago's fallen off, but not by much. But then on the other side, Jacksonville, who started off the season with multiple interceptions over multiple games, have now dropped all the way down to 13 from second. Now, I didn't check it, but I believe they're still second or third. They might even still be first in interceptions. I'm not sure. They're at least first or second in interceptions alone. But of course,
Okay.
when we talk about turnovers, we're talking about interceptions and fumble recovery. So,
Right.
but they've definitely fallen off. And they've fallen off, so has their record. But again, NFC West, there's the separation. Rams fourth overall, fourth over the last 3 weeks. Do you see Seattle anywhere on this list?
Mm,
Mm.
mm.
If you're trying to think about which team is really scary, it'd be those Rams. They're both scary,
No doubt, no doubt. Well,
but
let's look at
but
the
I'm
bottom
just
half and
saying
see if we can find that other team there.
there is some separation.
Let's see. Let's look at the bottom half and see. All right, Seattle on the season side, 25th place at minus 0.4. Now that ain't bad, Benny. I mean,
No,
unless
no, no.
a turnover that you're giving up. However, a whole number one, -1 on the 26 over the last 3 weeks. So that's fallen off. That's fallen off in terms of giving up a little bit more. Vegas comes
Yeah.
in at 17th over the last 3 weeks at 0. Then you got a one, two, three, four-way tie between the Pack, Cincinnati, Washington, and Miami. Three-way tie between Tennessee, Denver, and Dallas. A one, two, three, four, five, six-way tie between New England, Seattle, Carolina, and Minnesota. My Niners, that's 29th place there, and the New York Jets. And then New Orleans and Indianapolis round out the bottom. And look at that, Benny. Indianapolis in last place over the last 3 weeks in terms of turnover differential at
That's a
minus
skew.
1.7. And hold on, Chicago's plus 1.6. So they're like completely on the opposite end of the spectrum for turnover differential. What do you got?
Indianapolis, that's a one-game skew. They had 6 turnovers in one game.
Okay.
So that's definitely going to knock you out the box. That's just one game.
One game, yeah. One game. All right, there you go. So that's the bottom half of the average turnover differential. These are the 4 statistics that we follow most closely. Average net points, average points for, average points against, and average turnover differential. If you understand these, especially the net points, then you have an idea, you have a baseline of information for which you can make decisions for any matchups that are coming up. And when we use these numbers for matchups, we produce what's called the bias plus reports. And the next show that we're going to do is called the Ben and Barry on Football Show, and we utilize those bias plus reports for the matchups for the upcoming weekend. So remember, this is the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings. Please click the like button. Please click the notification bell. You can reach us at www.sterlingnppr.com. That's it for me, Benny. Anything for you?
I'm ready to move on.
All right. Thank you.